back, and no matter who you voted for, you're not going to be married to them forever. But as we do get into November and December, a lot of people are starting to get engaged, and there's a lot of different financial reasons to, you got to think about it. It's expensive to get married, be married, weddings, the whole nine. Matthew Matsudaira and Carina Walters join us today from Adorii, a site with daily sales events for the engaged and invited. Matthew's the CEO and co-founder of the company, and Carina came on in June for their launch as the CMO. Well, welcome, guys. How are you?
Pretty good.
Thanks.
Good. I'm glad you guys could make it. And, it is interesting because most people are talking about elections and whatnot, but in the wedding industry, this is the busy time, huh?
It is. We're coming on a really busy time of year. 33% of engagements happen during that holiday time. You're getting together with your family and friends. You want them around when you present that ring. So between Thanksgiving and New Year's is a busy time for us, at least, and a lot of planning going on.
So how does Adorii help? I mean, what exactly does Adorii do for the newly engaged?
Well, Adorii is a members-only website, e-commerce site, for the engaged and invited. So everything bridal. So
What do you mean by invited? Like you can the invited to the wedding people?
Invited
The
to
guests?
the wedding people. Yep, guests. So how many weddings did you attend this year?
Today I have not been to one, but this year I don't know. 6,
Okay.
6.
Carina's attended, I think, 10 this past year.
It's very expensive. So we are a resource for people to find, whether it's gifts, whether it's jewelry to change that outfit that they wore to the last wedding, just a true resource for both those that are getting married and those that are attending a wedding. We know that if a girl has a wedding budget of $28,000, she's going to spend all of it, probably a little bit more, but we allow her to do more with that budget.
How?
We have some awesome buyers that curate both wed fashions, from veils to bridal shoes to jewelry, tuxes, as well as services. So those photographers, those DJs that really suck up a lot of your budget, there's one place you can find them all on Adorii for 20 to 80% off to allow a little bit of stress release on some of those really big budget items.
So is it like Groupon for weddings?
We get asked that question a lot.
Right. Not really. It's we like to say it's Zulily for bridal. So Zulily is like the largest e-commerce site or growing e-commerce site in the world.
What is it?
Zulily.
Okay.
So they're right down in our neck of the woods in Soto is where we're located, our offices. But we have products and services. So everything from photographers, like Carina said, to wedding apps. There's a great wedding app on our site today. You should go check it out. It's table planning. So those seating arrangements.
Plan is very stressful when planning a wedding. So Adorii really pulls all those unique things that we all know brides play on Pinterest. It's the whole reason Pinterest exists these days. So we allow them to find where to purchase those things that they're seeing pop up on all their friends' Facebook pages as well as Pinterest.
So you have all this different the services, you have the products, you have help to planning a wedding, and
Exactly.
you can stretch 28,000 further than your average bride, I suppose. But how else are you guys helping couples? I mean, what are some of the reasons I think that you guys are successful in doing what you're doing?
Well, this is a $56 billion wedding industry year. $9 billion last year was done online, and $700 million through the mobile app. What we're doing is we're finding deals and curating them for our customers, and bringing them inspiration and disrupting a traditional based wedding site.
As a bride and as someone who's planned a ton of weddings, it's such a crazy marketplace out there. There's so much distraction, and you want to have something different than everyone else. So we really allow a place to pull everything together with wedding specialists behind it, finding the best deals that are out there, as well as stuff that they've never seen before that they could provide their guests.
Well, what's interesting in some of the stats you guys have here is the amount of couples that are paying for this themselves.
Yeah.
So, we talk a lot of real estate and finance on our show. And what it seems to come down to is if you're paying for this stuff yourself, I understand the wedding industry, it can kind of be crippling for a while.
Absolutely.
You're maxing out credit cards. You're putting what could be a down payment on a house now towards a very nice house, now towards a wedding. So when you have young couples paying for their weddings, I mean, saving money can be a really big deal.
Absolutely. And the trends have completely changed in terms of what stages in people's lives they are getting married, how long the engagement is being drawn out. it's now not that 6-month window. It can go 2 years just because people want to do more with the money that they are making. And unfortunately, they are putting it on credit cards.
Yeah, and actually, Tyler even mentioned it before. It's a lot of young couples don't have money for down payment. They probably just didn't save $30,000. What you say? The average wedding in the U.S. is $27,000.
Yeah,
Right.
And that's not pocket change.
absolutely not. So they are looking for different ways to be creative, and it's not traditional anymore. It's not they're just going to the mother of the bride, that kind of thing. People are paying it for it themselves.
Because the parents are like $27,000. Yeah. How much are you covering?
Exactly. That $27,000 doesn't go that far anymore.
We're here with Matsudaira and Carina Walters with Adorii, a way to save money on, I guess, all things wedding. So, you talk about kind of a goal is not to reduce the wedding budget, but allow couples to do more with the budget that they have. Is that been successful? I guess is what you said. If you have $28,000 as a budget, you're going to spend it.
Exactly. And it's little things like brides who don't think they can afford a wedding planner or that photographer that all their friends are using. When they see them on Adorii, they can use them. One of our first sales on the site was a wedding planner that we talked to the bride who bought it and said, "Why did you purchase a wedding planner?" And she's like, "I would have never been able to afford her. She's $1,500 traditionally, and I got her for $500." So that stress relief of that now I don't have to take care of that, and I got to have it as a luxury.
If you're a service provider, what's the reason? Why would this wedding planner go on your site and give a discounted service?
We get that question a lot, and some of them have done the Groupon thing, and they can't fulfill what they have sold. So maybe they sold 800 of these wedding photography packages, and they will never be able to accommodate all of those customers. But we put a limit on how many we are selling, and it is date selective. So as a bride or a groom, you can go on the site, see what date you are getting married, and how much a wedding photographer could be on that date.
And then actually, there's a little bit more planning maybe around a calendar than just a blind purchase.
Exactly.
Right. Which is why you didn't like when I called you Groupon, huh?
That's right.
That's right.
What are some of your aspirations, I guess, for the company and what you hope to do for the bridal industry as a whole?
I think the biggest thing is just being someone gets engaged, we're the first resource. We know that brides are digging through the Groupon sites. They're buying their dresses on sites like Rue La La, Gilt Group, and a lot of these other curated daily deal sites. And we want to be top of mind when someone gets engaged, from the ring to when I'm attending a wedding.
You guys sell diamonds?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Thinking about it.
Blue Nile is across the street from us, so it could be something down the road.
Yeah,
baby steps.
Well, it would seem like because that from a guy's perspective, who we had a big wedding and I planned absolutely pretty much zero of it.
Right.
It's hard sometimes to realize how much goes into it. But I do know that I learned more about diamonds in that week or two before I was going to buy them than honestly I ever had any interest. But once you learn, I don't even remember it anymore. The clarity and the SVV1X, it's like a different language. But there's, that's an element of just helping people understand what they are buying.
Yeah, and we do have a daily blog, and we do, of course, use social media to reach our customers and get new customers, and that's what we hope to share, is those things that no one wants to talk about, and a lot of people just don't.
The money part.
The money part.
Yeah, and it is expensive. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us again. Matsudaira, Carina Walters from Adorii, which has daily sales for the engaged and the invited. We have to get a break, but when we come back, we are going to talk about, if it's your big day and you're having a wedding and things don't go right. Now, I don't mean about maybe being left at the altar, but things don't go right and some other factors. How can you ensure that? We'll be right back with Paul Pukas to discuss.